we have Johnny Watson.
Hi, YouTube.
So would you like to tell the audience a little bit more about yourself?
Well, my name is Johnny. I'm from New York. I play music. I'm a music lover. I play drums, and now I'm out here in Portland, Oregon, of all places, hanging out, having a good time.
Awesome. So, as we do on my little channel here, we talk about struggle first. So
Okay.
Let's talk about some struggles.
Well, I'm a musician, so therefore I struggle.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of hard in the field of the arts.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Lots of obstacles to overcome, and sometimes it's not so difficult, sometimes it gets a little difficult. So I have had this constant struggle trying to be a musician. I've had spurts of my life where I've just played gigs and just made enough money to pay bills and stuff, and that was awesome, but it didn't last very long. So I want to get back to that point, and that's the basic gist of it. Lots of financial difficulties, playing drums. That means you have to have drums, and they're expensive, and drumsticks break, and that's expensive, and you have to have a car to transport the drums, and that's expensive. Gas is expensive.
Place to
play them, that's extremely expensive. I actually haven't had my own practice space. I can't remember the last time I had my own practice space. So well over 10 years, probably more than 15 years.
Yeah.
So that's my goal right now, is to have a nice practice space where I can set up my drums and make a lot of noise and won't bother anybody. And I can work on my stuff.
Cool.
And get better.
So what do you do to deal with this whole trying to live out your passions, but also those passions making you financially struggle?
Right. So when you're feeling that struggle, all you can think about is, man, I'm struggling in this moment. I'm struggling, and I read about the power of thought and things of that stuff, like law of attraction stuff is really interesting. But just the idea, or just thinking about our minds and how they work, our brains are like supercomputers.
Yes.
So they're really powerful things, and you've heard of the placebo effect?
A bit, yes.
So, I mean, yeah.
You could explain it for our audience who haven't heard.
Oh, okay. Well, where they do those clinical trials for drugs, and they give people a certain drug, and a certain group of those people are just given sugar pills instead of the real drug. And those people are assuming they're taking the real drug.
Yeah.
So since they're assuming they're just from the power of thought, they feel the symptoms of the drug, or the effects of the drug. Apparently the trick is it's not so easy, but if you think that you already have the thing that you want, and assume that it's in your life already, it happens. Because my theory is you're giving your brain a goal, and when your brain has a goal, it will find ways to solve that, make that deadline.
Yeah.
Like, I would need to have an apartment by July 1st, so that's got to happen, right? So I expect that's going to happen.
Yeah.
And somehow I figure out how to make that happen.
Yeah.
On time. And July 1st, I'm moving into the apartment.
Yeah.
So that type of thing. It's not so easy. It sounds easy to do, but it's not that easy. But it's a really interesting concept. So, and it works. Like, if you're just feeling down about anything, just imagine that everything is all good and you don't have to worry about any of that, and you can just enjoy life and just have a moment of happy. And
yes.
When your mind is in that type of state, you tend to figure out stuff and make things happen, and you see it in your mind, you can hold it in your hand, and all of a sudden it's there. And when I moved out here, being a musician, you don't have that network.
Yeah. Because you had a really big network when you were in New York.
Yeah. A lot of people knew who I was. They probably forgot me by now. It's been a few
I'm
years.
sure they haven't.
But yeah, so it was easy to get gigs. People would just call me. You know, I wanted to play drums, and
Yeah.
so
So you had the opportunity.
absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
So out here, nobody knows who I am. But I don't know. I kind of also got burnt out from struggling with the musician thing. So it was nice to take a nice break from it.
You mean like the obligations, or
What
what do you mean
well,
exactly?
being that I was so busy playing music, I was in 3 bands, but despite that, I still didn't have enough money to pay bills, so I had to have a daytime job, a
Yes.
full-time job, to pay for that car, to pay for those drums, to make it happen.
Yeah.
So having the full-time job and the rehearsals and
Yeah.
the recording sessions and the gigs and the driving and all that fun stuff, it's just,
Yeah,
it's
you
a lot.
What bands were you in?
So there was Lara, Hope, and the Champtones, which was a really fun rockabilly band. And actually, the new incarnation of the band is still going strong today. Now they're called Lara, Hope, and the Arctones. I actually had a side band with Lara as well. We were called the Red Stripes, and we would wear silly wigs and costumes and rock out to cover songs. And that was fun to play as well. I was also in the band Naked, which is the music of the wonderful Julia Nichols, and they're still playing too. And the Sarah Perrotta band. And I was in other bands as well. Can't forget Phantom Frequency, which was the electronic pop punk band. The Punk Blues Review, which we took old blues covers and played them punk rock style. And the Gondaddies, another punk band, classic punk / modern rock, I would say. The only band that's ever taken me to Europe, so that was super, super fun. The short time I spent in New Orleans, I played in a cover band called Beer Money, and I also played in the percussion section with the New Orleans Volunteer Orchestra, which was really, really cool. So, yeah, and good times.
Yeah. So now you're here
Now I'm here, and
in Oregon.
it's awesome out here. But the thing is that I was looking for a job, but I don't want to work at a job where I feel stressed all the time. I want to be at a place where it's nice to be there, and by the time I'm done with the day, I can go play music and do awesome things. So I ended up finding this really great company to work for, Certified Languages International. Great company with good people, and it's a language company, so we provide a service, a really great service that I think is great. So
Translation service.
translation services, interpreting, telephone interpreting, primarily, and and I really like the company, and I'm still with them after 3 years. So yeah, it's nice, and getting a steady paycheck and paying all those bills.
So where are you playing now?
I'm playing now with a jazz group called Baby and the Pearl Blowers. We play like 1920s, 30s, 40s jazz. We have a nice horn section, really fun, and we play every month at the Secret Society. Can't tell you where it is. Look it up. We play there every month for a swing dance event. So I get to hang out with a bunch of swing dancers and play some music, and it's really fun.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about how you got into jazz?
Well, yeah, so I went to college and I studied jazz studies was my major. So,
yeah. It's a good way to get into it.
I learned a lot about music, which was really great. Really awesome teachers at SUNY New Paltz. Awesome. If you study music at SUNY New Paltz, you're studying music with these amazing, top-notch musicians.
Yeah.
That are so awesome. They're so good.
Yeah.
And they're good teachers. I learned so much about music from them. And even though you can't really do much with a jazz studies degree, I still don't regret studying music, because I'm so happy that I did. It makes me really happy.
Cool. Do you want to talk about New Orleans a little bit?
Yeah. So while studying jazz, I learned about New Orleans music, and I didn't really get it until I was actually there. And the music there is so awesome. I really love the marching bands and the Mardi Gras Indians especially, and the funk music is great too. Awesome drummer from New Orleans, Stanton Moore, plays in the band Galactic. Really great drummer, very inspiring to me. So I'm actually working on some New Orleans drumming that I picked up from down there, and I lived in New Orleans for 2 years before moving to Portland. So yeah, I'm still have that with me, and I'm still working on it. And I just love, because I studied jazz, and it gives me the edge because in jazz you play with the swing feel. There's a technique for the drums with the swing feel, but New Orleans music is great because it's not swing, but it's not straight either. It's in the middle, and they call it playing in the cracks.
Yeah.
So
I like that.
That's what I love about New Orleans music. It's not too swingy. It's not too straight. It's in the middle. It's very organic. Like
yeah.
You couldn't program a drum machine to play that
type
thing. Well, I guess now you could because technology is awesome.
It is.
Technology is awesome.
Really helpful.
So. But yeah, that half swung feel I love. That's what I'm totally working on right now.
Cool. Is there any more that you would like to elaborate about drums and music?
Just practice makes better. Really working on technique and just slowing everything down, and I love using the rebound of the drumstick so that I'm using less of my own energy and letting the sticks do all the work. Is kind of a cool concept.
Yeah.
It's like bouncing a ball. You're throwing the ball down to the ground and then it's just coming back up by itself. You don't have to bring it back up.
Yeah.
Which I didn't realize with drumsticks.
Yeah,
it's just like
saying
if you're using the force to bring it down, the force to bring it up, you can tire yourself out.
Yeah.
But instead it's just down, 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 down.
Yeah.
And the stick always comes back up.
Yeah, so I guess last but not least, is there anything that you would like to share with our viewing audience?
Spend your time with people that you like being around, people that are uplifting to you. Don't spend time with people that bring you down. I think that's a really important thing.
Absolutely, yeah.
I'm very, very lucky to be spending my time around awesome people all the time.
That's beautiful. Yay! Cool. Well, thank you for being on my little channel here.
Cool. Yeah, I don't think I've ever done an interview before, so.
No? Well, now you have.
Maybe you could be next, YouTuber.
Yeah, contact me. I want more interviews. So, thank you, and goodbye!
Bye!